And today I am talking about college football, how I got to this lineup, the end result. Not great, but not terrible. So, in this slate, I knew that I wanted to play Kyle Trask. Trask going against Tennessee seemed like a very obvious play. Pairing him with Pitts was an easy stack, but I stacked with Pitts and Grimes because they both projected out well. I kind of knew going against Tennessee that I wanted to get all the touchdowns that I can from Trask. And so, although Pitts didn't get any touchdowns, he still got you there. He still caught 100 yards on only 7 receptions, which is insane. So he went off. Grimes got 2 receiving touchdowns. So I knew Trask was going to be a very popular play. The fact that he popped up at 31% in my lineup doesn't surprise me. The fact that Pitts is in 30% in of lineups in this tournament doesn't surprise me. Grimes falling to 10% was a little more surprising. So the thought process was, okay, I'm going to eat the chalk on Trask. I'm going to eat the chalk on Pitts, knowing that this game has potential to really, really fall into Florida's favor, into the Florida passing game. So, how did I get different? The thought process was, if everybody's paying up 9-6 for Trask, nobody's going to be on Bryce Hall, which it did fall that way because Trask ownership was high. Nobody was jamming Trask and Hall into their lineups. So Hall's ownership fell to sub 10% at 8,700, and he had a monster game. So having Hall in my lineup gave me a great edge because the Trask ownership was high at 9-6, and nobody jammed Trask and Hall, making it a good leverage play. And I was also able to do that because I was on the opposite side of Notre Dame. Ian Book was very high owned, making Tyree at 3-2 a very, very, very promising play. I think when I was looking through my projections on the slate, when I was looking at my model, I think Tyree's median projection came in at about 28 or so, like 28 or 25. So I was like, okay, I could play Trask, I could play Pitts, I could play Grimes, and I could play Hall, and then I could get on the other side of a game and get somebody sub Stoneman that's projecting well, that's going to go low owned. So that was the leverage play off of Ian Book. It was cheap enough to get me to get into the lineup with Trask and Hall. Hall being another leverage play. So I love this play here at 2.4 on the other side of a game where everybody was on Ian Book. And then I put Howard and Moore in the super flex spot. I always do a secondary stack with the superflex spot. More times than not, a quarterback will end up in my superflex spot with his wide receiver because I like doing 2 stacks. I think it is an edge. Again, this was just a cheap enough contrarian play to end up on. I knew a lot of people were going to be on Ellinger, so Howard at 5-3 and Moore at 3-7 to be on the other side of that game was worth the risk at that price. Again, very contrarian. It didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, which is frustrating because Howard threw for 2 touchdowns and 174 yards, so he hit value, but Moore didn't, which is frustrating. But again, at the price and at the ownership, I think that was well worth the risk. and Frigel just tanked. Like one reception on 35 yards, 6,500. You can't have that. Frigel was the only play in this contest that I would say was bad, like in this lineup overall. So overall, I am really happy with this lineup. I'm really happy with the leverage plays that I got in this lineup. A lot of things fell my way in this contest. This contest was a ton of fun. um, so, yeah, this was an interesting way to look at the main slate. This is how I chose to look at it. Took some risks, some passed, some failed. Overall, 159, having two guys go sub 5, not too shabby. So thank you all for watching. This is my video. It is my thought process after the fact and the overall result. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. And as always, if you think I could do better, if you like my video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like my video, give it a thumbs down and tell me how I could do better. And I'll see you on the next one.